So the two things we've learned, first one is initialization. The second one is variable. You initialize, then you need to define your variable. The things you're going to be putting together, you need to place them in containers. Variables are placeholders. You might say all the data types that are integers, you want to place them in a container called integer. So you name it int. Then all the names, you want to put it in a container called strings. First name, middle initial, last name, that all of them should be in one container called strings or string names. Anytime you want to, you can load so many names. Anytime you now want to call up a name, you don't need to, you just call up that string name. And then you reference a specific name out of maybe 100 names in that container. And JavaScript or Java will just simply pull it out and display there, or reference it and use it, to perform the task you want to perform. And then we said all of these things are possible in an IDE. So instead of trying to write code on paper like the guys doing punch cards, or just trying to start from nothing, that there are already softwares written that provide all they do error checks, they do compilation, they do interpretation, they can go back to binary. They can read any instructions that you put together and execute those instructions by, they contain compilers, they contain interpreters, they contain assemblers, they go straight to binary code and instruct the machine and they execute them. And that the one we're going to be using in this class, which we mentioned before, is Visual Studio Code. So that I'm just bringing us up to speed. So when we get to the next phase now, it will be clear. And then we now said that IDEs, they have capabilities like they can manage your project. So if you start a project, you name it. And then once you finish naming it, you will start organizing them into folders and files per project by project, language by language. You might be doing 3 projects at the same time. It may not just be one project. One could be in CSS, the other one could be in JavaScript, the other one could be in C# or Python. Well, some of the codes we're going to look at, maybe not today, on Wednesday. Some will be displayed in Python, some in JavaScript, some in C#, some in Java. Just so that you're familiar with the syntax. Then we talked about consoles, that whenever you finish typing your code, you want to test it to be sure it runs. And to test it, you use what is called a print statement. A print statement in every language takes the code which you've written, tests it, runs it, and then displays the result on the console. The console is where all the text you do in the form of code, the result is displayed.